KB?
It feels like we did.
You think so?
Nate, are you calling it? Don't you already have a nickname for this game? Did you brand this thing already?
Yeah, I went and threw that out there on CBS. It is the GOAT versus the kid. And if you consider what they call a baby goat, it's a kid. And he is the baby goat in Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't know that. Well, National Geographic to spice up your morning. Our show brought to you by Truist. That's Peter Schrager. I'm Kay Adams, Kyle Brandt, Nate Burleson, the GOAT, the kid, and the lead block.
The lead block. And that brings us to the early game. The NFC title game that you watched while you were waiting for the equalizer with Queen Latifah. I'm sorry, there was a lot of promos for that. A lot.
I just missed the 60 minutes clock. I
miss living single.
I kind of do too. All right, so 7-7 in the second quarter, and Leonard Fournette. Wait, hold on. Oh, this was such a good run. We're going to see it again here. It shows physicality, dexterity, even switches the ball. This is like a running back coach's dream. What a great play.
You ain't lying. High and tight.
Everything. And it's, there's a loaded subtext here where, Ronald Jones has been the man for Tampa, and Arians has said, I like Rojo, and I'm starting him over him. And Peter said it, a 1-in-15 team. Jacksonville cut Leonard Fournette, and here he is going to the Super Bowl. It's pretty awesome. This was not intercepted. Sean Murphy bunting. Rodgers talked extensively about this play afterwards. He thought Lazard was going to go a little more across the field. Lazard made a little skinnier. They just weren't on the same page on that play, and in the title game, that gets you beat. And so does this. We've talked a lot about the no risk it, no biscuit, decide to call this to Scotty Miller. How in the holy hell did the Packers let this happen? Rodgers is like, you got to be kidding me. What's that? Is this Kaepernick running through the Dom Capers defense again? I mean, title games and the playoff games passed. So what's he going to do about it? 21-10, Aaron Jones, boom! Peter talked about Jordan Whitehead earlier on the show. He was a push-up phenom coming out of the draft, and he pushes that one right to the ground. A couple of injuries on the play. Jones, Whitehead. Aaron Jones would leave the game. You see Devin White leave the game, maybe leave the team in the offseason. Tough day for a really likable, very good player. I could say the same about Cameron Brate, who then cashes this one in, and at this point, this is a blowout. The Packers are going to get blown off the field, but wait. 12 says no, we will not go quietly into the night. We're going to go to Robert Tonyan from Indiana State, the Sycamores, over the middle. Touchdown. Still work to be done, though. Now it's 28-17. Brady got cold. And this was probably his worst pass of the day, kind of a gimme interception on a day where he otherwise looked really good. That's when you're like, Brady doesn't have trust me. He still has it. It was just a bad play, and there were a few of them in the second half. That leads to opportunities like this. Devontae,
everyone
touchdown.
in the world knew it was going to him 3rd and goal. They still find a way to get it to him.
Maybe they should have done that on 4th and goal later, but they didn't. 2-point conversion is dropped right in the sternum of the Packers receiver. That would loom large. 28-23. Brady keeping the Packers in it. Make no mistake, Brady's going back to a Super Bowl. He did not play a perfect game or even a fantastic game. He made huge mistakes in the second half, as you see the next-gen stat.
Kyle, there's a point where you're saying to yourself, Brady's throwing this game away.
You're right.
He's giving
Brady was blowing it. But the Packers have to do something about it. And we got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who really had the game of his life and the biggest game of his life. We love 83. We've known him for a long time, up and down. He's had some big mistakes this year.
Here we go.
He's awesome. And this is it. 3rd and goal. Does Rodgers run? Does he throw? You seem to go to the pylon. We've seen this so many times this morning. This time around, I feel like he could have got to the pylon. Look from it here.
Corner.
Look at that.
He said afterwards he thought I had a guy that would have gotten me, and maybe there was this something in his brain where he thought he would have another shot at, but he wouldn't, because Matt LaFleur would like to do kick a field goal down A. They had all their timeouts plus the 2-minute. But it wouldn't matter because of this controversial play, the pass, the sell job, and the flag. Really, I think you call that a pregnant pause. That thing was at 40 weeks. That's the crowning. The flag comes out. And there it is. I'm up in the stirrups waiting for that thing. Okay. 31-26. And Rodgers is going to lose again. I guess it'd be quadruplets. That's his 4th straight loss because Chris Godwin calls game. Look at Ryan Jensen. Love that guy. Very likable players. We talk about these personalities and storylines. There's your personalities and storylines. I'll say it again. I do not think those guys are best friends. But they are two legends who really respect each other on the field, off the field. I have no idea. But Rodgers was gutted, and Brady is going to his 10th Super Bowl, trying to get his 7th Super Bowl ring. Tom, you go to this thing pretty much every year. Is this one special? It's number 10. What's it mean to you?
For me, I don't think about what it means for me. I do think about what it means for everyone else. And it's an amazing achievement for BA. I'm so happy for him, the staff he put together, Coach Bowles, what Byron's done, what Keith's done. And, the whole coaching staff's put us in a great position for us to go out there and do our jobs well. It's a tough journey to get here. So to go on the road and win a another road playoff game is just a great achievement. And, now a home Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history, I think puts a lot of cool things in perspective. Anytime you're the first time doing something, it's usually a pretty good thing. So now we just got to go, have a great 2 weeks, prepare for whoever it is, and, be ready to go.
Of course, it's the Chiefs that they will be playing. They went on to win and represent the AFC for the second time straight after winning at home. And so now they'll go to Tampa, face Tom. It's Monday. It's early. I don't want to get too deep into this, you guys. Just like a nibble, just like a little feeling. The Bucs Schrags have won 7 straight. They've got Tom Brady. They have a feisty defense that's going to be very aggressive against Patrick Mahomes. They are well constructed to give Mahomes a run for his money. What are your initial nibbles of this one?
My nibbles. Dipping my toe in, because we're doing this for the next 14 days, I believe. And I gotta think that it's the Super Bowl matchup between Mahomes and Brady that's so enticing. And I just look at, gosh, what Brady has done for this Buccaneers franchise. And I look about what he has brought with him, because they made this big investment into Brady. And I spoke to Jason Light, the general manager, and he's like, in February, we discussed it at the Combine, and we're like, we're going to have to really make a strong pitch, and it's going to be Florida weather, and these great young receivers, and an awesome offensive line, and a young defense, but also Bruce Arians is the perfect coach for you at this stage in your career. And the friendship that these guys have had over the last month blossom into him saying, I think of BA first. It tells me everything I need to know about how happy Brady is and what that organization is all about right now. Mahomes is unbelievable. The Chiefs are unbelievable. But as I said last week on Friday, if it's a close game late, if they find a way to keep this late, are you really betting against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl? Are you really picking against Tom Brady here? I think it's going to be awesome, and I cannot wait for what, Nate, you've said, the greatest of all time to be going up against the baby goat, because Mahomes is blowing through every stop sign and through every record book and is doing things on a pace that no one has ever seen at the quarterback position. It's the history versus the current, and they're clashing, and we get to watch it, and I cannot wait for the Super Bowl matchup. I think it's great.
What you're saying, though, how do you bet against Brady? Like, don't you just immediately say, how do you bet against Mahomes? Like, both of them, I don't know how you do either of them. And listen, a year ago, Patrick Mahomes was going to the Super Bowl, and listen, he's going against Jimmy Garoppolo, who had a lot to prove. It was not Tom Brady. This is a different weight class.
Yeah.
My takeaway from this weekend is we got the right 2 teams. What I mean is Buffalo was not in Kansas City's class. We learned that last night. They'll be back, but they're not there. And I would like to say that would have been fun to see Rodgers go against Mahomes and try to keep up. I don't think that Packers defense would have anything to say about the Kansas City Chiefs offense. I think that they would have gotten annihilated. I don't think that would have been a competitive game. I think this one is the competitive one. I think the Bucs defense, I think Brady, Mahomes, a million storylines, most of which I think are going to be about the Bucs defense versus the Chiefs offense. They've seen them already. They've seen the fastball. They've seen Tyreek. That's the topic for the next 2 weeks. But my takeaway, we got the right 2 teams. This is the one.
Yeah, I'm excited about this matchup like we all are. I want to show you a couple of plays from this past weekend. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay offense, and I want to run some highlights. And you're probably thinking, oh, we're going to show Mike Evans scoring a touchdown or Scotty Miller doing his thing. No, I want to show you some near misses. And why I want to show you these near misses, because as I'm watching this game, I'm looking at Tom Brady throw these interceptions and some passes that run a little high. I'm thinking to myself, is the weather getting to Tom Brady? Now, he didn't look old, but at this age, the cold weather, it really felt like some of these balls got away from him. Why am I showing you this? Because one, I believe that Tom Brady is going to be even more particular about preparing for the Super Bowl, just like he has every time he stepped on the field for the biggest game of his life. But more importantly, he should be glad this game is played in Tampa. I mean, it was cold out there in Green Bay. And, fourth quarter, you're sitting there trying to make these throws, and a couple of them went to him. I'm like, Brady, how could you miss that? Now he gets to reset, criticize himself more than we ever will. He gets 2 weeks to work on film, game plan for the Chiefs defense, and then also, it's great weather. What, about 70 degrees?
Sure.
Maybe 65 at its lowest.
He's home.
On game day. This is going to be great for a guy his age to play in those conditions. This is one of the main reasons why Tom Brady said, I'm leaving the New England Patriots to go all the way down south to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For him to be playing in Tampa, all I'm saying is, watch out. He could be wheeling and dealing. Don't be fooled by what happened yesterday. Okay. Tom Brady had 3 picks, uncharacteristic. I do not believe that's going to happen in the Super Bowl.
Schrags, I said they won 7 straight. I think the last game they lost was against Kansas City. It was the Sunday after Thanksgiving. You have a better Rolodex than I do. What was that game like? I remember the first half really struggles for Tampa Bay. And in the second half, they gave them all they could handle and they settled in. Now this is a totally different team with momentum. I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should feel pretty good about this matchup with the second half.
If I'm not mistaken, Tyreek Hill had like 200 yards receiving in the first quarter. Chiefs ran out big.
Bad first half.
The Bucs came all the way back and lost by about one score.
It was 27-24.
And then they had the bye week. Yeah. And then they haven't lost since.
Yeah.
So that was like a major catharsis maybe of like, we can't beat good teams. What are we about? And Drew Brees has now been beaten by Tom Brady in a playoff game in Drew Brees' building. Aaron Rodgers has now been beaten by Tom Brady in their building. And now Tom Brady's home with the COVID stuff, and the Chiefs get 1 day in Tampa. I don't know. This might be a huge advantage, to Nate's point, being in Tampa at home in the Super Bowl.
And it could matter how healthy Patrick Mahomes is. So for that, let's bring in Ian Rappaport here. The Rap Sheet giving us a couple of early injury updates for Super Bowl 55, of course, 2 weeks away. The Pro Bowl is, of course, this weekend. But what's going on with Antonio Brown, Patrick Mahomes, his toe respectively? What's up?
It looks like these teams are going to be relatively healthy heading into the Super Bowl. We'll start with Antonio Brown, who, of course, did not play yesterday, which is why you saw Scotty Miller kind of rise to the occasion with really one of the biggest plays of, I guess, the biggest plays of the entire season for any team at the end of the half. But the good news for Antonio Brown is he is expected to be fine by the Super Bowl. They actually thought he was going to be able to play this game. Knee just didn't quite develop, didn't quite heal like they wanted by Friday, so he was out. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes dealing with turf toe, a very painful injury, one that is going to necessitate him going to see a specialist after the season to determine whether or not he needs surgery. The 2 weeks should help immensely. If you watched him run yesterday, obviously he played great, but just didn't quite run like he normally would, didn't quite put all the pressure on his toe. Should be in a much better place in 2 weeks in Tampa. And then, of course, quickly for Eric Fisher, their standout left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. He tore his Achilles and is out for the Super Bowl, obviously, and beyond, a long road back for the Pro Bowler in Fisher.
Love that. Ian, did you know